Part 51. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 502. Ditching Zone, I made a joke just now, don't worry about it. In fact, we are very good people. We are very good in real life, and we will be very good when we go online. May I ask the great writer Mu Feng, are you still a young boy? Lin Feng, the first boy's hat has been taken off. Big Caterpillar, did a certain lady take off your first boy hat and then grab it with a tissue and throw it away? Lin Feng. Big Blue Bug, hee hee. Lin Feng, are you my reader? Big Caterpillar, absolutely. Lin Feng, do you know me? Daking Zone, I don't know. Your address shows Beijing. It is estimated that you are in Beijing, and I am in Hangzhou, Zhejiang province. Lin Feng, it's a good place. There is heaven above and Suzhou and Hangzhou below. The beauty of the West Lake is intoxicating. Unfortunately, I haven't been to Hangzhou yet. When Lin Feng sent the news, he also thought that if he went to Hangzhou in the future, he would definitely take a plane, because he has never taken a plane before. Although he sent this kind of news, he didn't really believe that Ditching Zone was in Hangzhou. Maybe she was in some other city that wasn't Hangzhou, maybe she was in Beijing. Today's business of Fengnan fashion store is about to end. Dinan smiled and said, King Zhu, do you want to go back to the dormitory tonight or find Lin Feng? Go back to the dorm. You're wrong. Since you are already Lin Feng's girlfriend, you should spend more time with him. You can't live in the dormitory every night, Dinan said. The beauty Zhu was a little embarrassed and smiled, Sister Nan, I don't actually live in the dormitory every night. Oh, forget it, I'll go find Brother Feng tonight. Although Lin Feng is already her boyfriend, she still likes to call him Brother Feng, which is more cordial. When Beauty Bamboo appeared in front of him, Lin Feng had already completed today's coding task. Looking at Beauty Bamboo in simple casual clothes, he seemed to see a shimmering lake, and the surrounding scenery was so beautiful. Brother Feng, what's wrong with me? You're fine. Why are you looking at me that way? It makes me a little scared. Is it because I didn't do something well that made you angry? Bamboo said. Of course not. The reason I look at you in that way is because you are so beautiful, you fool. Lin Feng hugged the beautiful Bamboo tightly into his arms. Let the towering chest of the beautiful Bamboo cling to his body. The softness that glowed with heat made him very comfortable. Beauty Bamboo's body fragrance also makes him very. I want to watch a movie. Then I'll watch the movie with you. What kind of movie do you want to watch? Lin Feng said. Love, pure love. Then watch Love in the Hawthorn Tree. Lin Fengzin said that the film is absolutely pure enough. But in real life, love like that is rare. Lin Feng began to accompany Tian Qingzi to watch Love of the Hawthorn Tree. During the period, the beautiful Bamboo shed tears several times. Lin Feng has watched this film several times, so his feeling is not as strong as when he first watched it. After watching the film, it was already midnight. Lin Feng picked up Beauty Bamboo and rolled onto the bed. During the kiss, he took off Beauty Bamboo's clothes, took off her chest photo, and ripped off her panties. When Lin Feng broke in, the beautiful Bamboo no longer felt the pain like the first few times. She felt very fulfilled, and she was happy to be possessed by the man she loved. Of course, when the pleasure came, she would be very comfortable. Her voice was sweet, like a lark. Beauty Bamboo's body is too good. After more than an hour of enthusiasm, Lin Feng still didn't want to leave her body. He didn't roll to the side until Beauty Bamboo pushed him down. Lin Feng kissed her cheek and asked her, how did you feel just now? It's cool. You also like to use the word cool, Lin Feng said. It was cool. Although she had already done that kind of thing with a man, and just finished it, the Beauty Zhu was still so shy, and now her face was a little red again, snuggling in Lin Feng's arms, and gradually fell asleep. Morning. When Lin Feng was browsing the news, Su Qingyuan, the daughter of the Taiyuan coal owner in Jin province, sent him a message saying that she would come to Beijing before New Year's Day. Lin Feng was even a little scared. If both Su Qingyuan and the Russian beauty bodyguard Victoria arrived in Beijing, they might cause trouble for him, especially the beautiful Su Qingyuan, who was clearly a woman who was afraid that the world would not be chaotic. Su Qingyuan has caused a lot of trouble for him before. Lin Feng hopes that this beautiful woman who has been heartbroken by love will not make any trouble for him in the future. He thinks that he was not interested in Su Qingyuan before, but he doesn't know that this is very important. What is a beautiful woman thinking? Lin Feng, I will be very busy in the 2 months before New Year's Day. If you really want to come, then come back next year when the weather warms up in spring. Beijing is very cold in winter, so there is nothing to do. Su Qingyuan, you are a code word, and you are not the big boss of the group, how can you be so busy? Don't you usually have a very mobile time? Go wherever you want to go, start at what time you want. What happened to Beijing in winter? It's interesting when it's colder. I'm here to find you, you won't hibernate anyway. Lin Feng really can't hibernate. He is almost the same in winter as he is in spring and summer. When he eats and drinks, it's time to code the code, and it's time to slap it. Lin Feng, come on if you want. Su Qingyuan, I will give you a very precious gift at that time. Lin Feng, there is no need for precious gifts, as long as you don't cause me trouble when you come. Su Qingyuan, am I the troublemaker? Lin Feng, I hope you will be more obedient then. He said to himself, you are not the troublemaker, who is the troublemaker? Lin Feng really wanted to know the news about Baiman, but since He Rose was arrested and Baiman left Beijing, there was no news, and he didn't know where the kind woman who had experienced a special experience but had a kind heart in her heart went to mingle. In fact, when Baiman left Beijing, Lin Feng thought that if Baiman suddenly encountered difficulties and asked him to borrow money, he would borrow no matter how much Baiman borrowed, even if the money lent to Baiman never returned. He won't say anything either. But Baiman's character makes it almost impossible to borrow money from him, and there is no news, let alone borrow money from him. Noon. Lin Feng bought food and drinks and went to the Fengnan fashion store to eat with Dainan. From time to time, Dainan would show a bright smile, which also had an ambiguous taste. Lin Feng took a sip of the drink and showed a slightly evil smile. Your smile is very special, do you want me to touch you? Dainan stopped laughing immediately, and pretended to hit him with the chopsticks in his hand. Angrily said, you kid, be honest with me. Dainan didn't want Lin Feng to stay in the store just after dinner. For fear that Lin Feng would eat her tofu again, go back and code, kid. Another hour. Go back early to get more yards, go back quickly. Not going back. Lin Feng lit a cigarette and smoked it leisurely. Zhu Qingyu called and asked Lin Feng to have dinner together, and Lin Feng readily agreed. The beautiful head nurse invited him to dinner. Of course there is no reason to refuse. It's nice to invite beautiful women to dinner. It would be nice to be invited to dinner by a beautiful woman. I think Meng Jiwei's aunt, the beautiful head nurse Zhu Qingyu, will eventually seduce you to bed. Not necessarily. Definitely, since that man named Dehi died. She hasn't had another man, so I'm afraid her body will be on fire long ago, Dainan said. Sister Qingyu is so beautiful and has such a great figure. There are many people chasing her. Are there many people like her? Dainan asked. I don't know about this. Maybe she has had a relationship with a man other than Dehi, or maybe she has only had a relationship with a man in Dehi. What is certain is that she is not casual, Lin Feng said. You speak highly of her. Actually, you have a very high opinion of her, Lin Feng said with a smile. I have to have dinner with Zhu Qingyu in the evening, and I don't know what time I will be back, so this afternoon Lin Feng wrote 12,000 words in one breath. Evening. Lin Feng and Zhu Qingyu met on a street very close to the bar in the 1980s. He said, "Sister Qingyu, are you going to invite me to a bar in the 1980s for dinner?" It was originally, "Why don't you meet here, haha, are you afraid of meeting me yanking? Last time your kid ate yanking's tofu under the pretext that massaging the lower abdomen can prevent gynecological diseases, she wanted to take a knife. I chop you up, don't say, since you and me yanking met, you two are like a pair of enemies, and your kid has eaten a lot of her tofu." "Actually, I haven't eaten any tofu from her," Lin Feng said. "I haven't eaten it yet? I've seen her and stroked her belly, what else do you want?" Zhu Qingyu said in her heart, "Do you have to take off me yankings to be considered to have eaten her tofu?" The 80s bar arrived. Lin Feng and Zhu Qingyu sat on the seats on the first floor. In the elegant environment, some people were drinking, some were dining, and some were playing ambiguous. Someone once said to Lin Feng that any building is a fortress. Lin Feng now thinks that this sentence is very reasonable. No matter whether the residential building of a hotel or a hotel is a fortress, in fact, office buildings and various buildings are also fortresses. In the elegant atmosphere on the first floor of the bar in the 1980s, it was rare for a man to get excited when he took off a woman's trousers, but it often happened that a man would put his hand into a woman's trousers and touch it while drinking. Lin Feng didn't put his hand into Zhu Qingyu's trousers but explored the wet softness, but the two of them sitting face to face and looking at each other's faces were already ambiguous. A beautiful and charming woman will always be charming when she smiles. For example, Zhu Qingyu is such a charming peach. When she sees her, she will think of taking 2 bites. Several special dishes in this bar are still very popular after eating and drinking. Lin Feng and Zhu Qingyu clinked glasses several times. He smiled and said, "Since you are here, you and me Myron are good friends again, why don't you invite her to dinner? Is it because you want to see her so much that you want me to call her? You must have fascinated her. Don't think that she is beautiful and enchanting and can charm me, I am not so easily charmed," Lin Fengzin said, "although my body often becomes tall and straight because of beautiful women. The restaurant in the 1980s near the bar is about to open, so yanking is very busy during this time," Zhu Qingyu said. "When the restaurant with more than 2,000 square meters opens, yanking will be the bigger boss. It is possible to go to a bar and earn more than 10 million yuan a year. She's already rich." "Richer than you," Zhu Qingyu said. "Not necessarily, maybe I will earn more than her in the future." "You really have ambitions, you are not something in the pool, come on, great genius, touch one." Zhu Qingyu raised her glass. To be continued. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 503. After clinking glasses again, Lin Fengzin said, "You used to say that my smoking looks a bit like your big river, so does my drinking look very similar to your big river?" As a stand-in for Dahe, Lin Feng doesn't want to be anyone's substitute, even if he can eat tofu from beautiful women, he is him. While eating and drinking, they chatted. When the meal was over, it was past 8 o'clock in the evening. Zhu Qingyu, who was very drunk, became more and more rosy and sultry. This peach-like woman would be very sweet after a little bit of it, so Lin Feng was thinking about it. Eat her peach. Zhu Qingyu didn't seem to want to leave the bar immediately. Lin Feng said, "Let's go." Zhu Qingyu said, "No rush, just now Yan Qing sent a text message saying that she would be back in a while." Lin Feng's body suddenly collapsed. He wanted to see me yanking, but he didn't want to see her. More than half an hour later, me yanking came back, tight shirt, tight pants, high leather boots, graceful. Looking at the hot and fragrant beauties in front of her, Lin Fengzin said, "Your chest is so big and your legs are so plump, you are guilty of wearing tights." Me yanking almost ignored Lin Feng. She excitedly said to Zhu Qingyu, "More than an hour ago at Kuomao, a man in his 50s got a nosebleed after seeing me. It's disgusting. Is he the first man to have a nosebleed after seeing you?" "It seems to be the 12th." Me yanking then looked at Lin Feng. Damn little author, do you want to be the 13th? The only way to make my nose bleed is to punch my nose, Lin Feng said. Even if your chest is bigger and your legs are longer, I won't get nosebleed when I see you. Mi Yanqing had a sense of accomplishment just now, but after hearing what Lin Feng just said, she suddenly became depressed. This kid is so annoying. Mi Yanqing swung her fist and hit Lin Feng in the nose. She had maximized her speed, but in Lin Feng's eyes, it was still much slower. Briskly sideways avoiding Mi Yanqing's pink fist, Lin Feng pinched her waist. The water snake's waist is really soft and wonderful. My Myron, are you tired of living? You're a bastard, oh. Do you want to know what I said to your beauty editor AI when last time? If you really want to know, then come to my room, Mi Yanqing said. Of course Lin Feng wanted to know that. After listening to Mi Yanqing's words that time, AI Wen's expression was very strange. But AI Wen didn't tell him what he heard. Certainly not a good word. It must be Mi Yanqing who slandered him out of nothing. We went to Mi Myron's room together. There is a strong aroma wafting around. Mi Myron is very interested in high-end perfumes of various brands. Sitting on the soft sofa, Lin Feng said, "Tell me, what did you say to AI Wen that time?" Mi Yanqing was holding a delicate leather whip in her hand. She said softly, "Let me slap you 6 times, and I'll say it." Mi Yanqing bought this leather whip online. In fact, she didn't know what to buy it at the time. She just thought it was beautiful and good quality. It would hurt a lot, so she bought it. The whip can be used to whip her future husband. He can hold the whip while riding on his body, or he can whip while standing on the ground. I won't let you whip it at once. Hurry up and put away your beautiful whip, and be careful, I will throw it away for you, Lin Feng said. Although Lin Feng was not her husband, Mi Yanqing really wanted to give him a few blows with the whip, which made him scream in pain, but she knew that if Lin Feng didn't want the whip to hit him, he would avoid it. It is possible that Lin Feng will destroy the exquisite whip she bought for several $100s. She put the whip away for the time being, and said in her heart, "Lin Feng, don't be complacent. One day I will use this whip on your body. I will whip you all over your body, and you will not be able to eat and urinate smoothly." In the 1980s, the restaurant will open in a week. Mi Yanqing was very excited. After chatting with Zhu Qingyu for 10 minutes, she looked at Lin Feng. Her eyes were a little contemptuous, and her tone was very unfriendly. "Stinky thing, don't worry, wait. When my big restaurant opens, I'm sure I won't invite you. Even if you invite me, I won't go. I'll give everyone's face at this time." Lin Feng seemed very pompous, and he had to use extraordinary means to deal with Mi Yanqing. "Are you excited? It was you who came first." In front of Zhu Qingyu, Lin Feng actually grabbed Mi Yanqing's chest, and his hand really held Mi Myron's chest tightly. Mi Yanqing panicked. She didn't expect that Lin Feng would play a hooligan in front of Zhu Qingyu. She backed away in panic, but she took a step back and Lin Feng went further. The evil hand kept holding her chest. The beautiful head nurse Zhu Qingyu was already stunned. She didn't expect Lin Feng to deal with Mi Yanqing in such a hot way. Gradually, Zhu Qingyu thought it was a hooliganism, but instead of stopping Lin Feng's hooliganism against Mi Yanqing, she watched the two of them with interest. "Asshole!" Mi Yanqing shouted, and her pink fist hit Lin Feng's face. Her arm was caught by Lin Feng, and then the whole body was embraced by Lin Feng. The pair of towering soft chests and Lin Feng's body squeezed desperately. "Help!" Mi Yanqing shouted. Even shouting for help, Zhu Qingyu couldn't sit still, got up and said, "Lin Feng, what are you doing, kid?" Hearing Zhu Qingyu's angry voice, Lin Feng let go of Mi Yanqing, and the glamorous beauty suddenly burst into tears. "You bastard, the old lady will definitely take revenge on you in the future. The old lady will kill you. If you really have that ability, you will kill me." Lin Feng believed that Mi Yanqing would not find a professional killer to deal with him. Even if the beautiful Mi Yanqing had the financial strength, she would definitely not do that, because she must be kind, otherwise Zhu Qingyu would not do it. Connect with her. Mi Yanqing cried for almost 10 minutes, and her cry finally subsided. Feeling aggrieved, he walked to Zhu Qingyu's side and choked, "This kid Lin Feng is too bullying. If you can't calm me down today, don't even think about leaving. If you want to detain Lin Feng, then you can detain him, you'd better let me go." Zhu Qingyu's beautiful eyes flickered. "Are we still good friends? Are we still good sisters?" Mi Yanqing said angrily. "They are good friends and good sisters, but you and Lin Feng are always making trouble. What can I do?" "I'll call the police," Mi Yanqing said. Lin Feng smiled and said, "Do you want to report to the police again this time?" Zhu Qingyu smiled. Mi Yanqing, who was still crying very sad just now, also laughed. Since Mi Yanqing smiled, there was a chance to ease up. Lin Feng said, "Is there a knife in your room?" "Of course there are knives. Do you want to get knives, boy? It's better than this. You can hold the knife and stab my body 6 times in a row. If you succeed, I will be unlucky. If you don't stab me 6 times, you are not good enough." "You should also calm down," Lin Feng said. "Why does it sound so annoying? What is the level of not working?" Mi Yanqing said, "I have Swiss Army knives, fruit knives, and even machetes here. Why don't you use a fruit knife?" "You can stab me in the chest," Lin Feng said. "Can you not hide?" "I will definitely hide, I'm not invulnerable," Lin Feng said. "Anyway, the chance is for you. If you don't plan to play this exciting and fun game, Sister Qingyu and I will leave," Lin Feng said. Mi Yanqing pondered for a moment and agreed. She planned to use a fruit knife to stab Lin Feng's body, but she would not stab Lin Feng's chest, lest he would really kill him. Zhu Qingyu became worried. She knew that Lin Feng's kung fu was very high and his dodging speed was very fast, but when he missed everything, what if Lin Feng didn't avoid him carelessly and was injured? "Can the two of you play a little bit of gentleness? Don't continue this game of stabbing with a knife." "Sister Qingyu, you can rest assured," Lin Feng said. "But I'm worried." "It's really okay," Lin Feng said. Mi Yanqing thought, "Qingyu, you are so worried about Lin Feng, do you really want him to be your man, that is to say, do you want to be a lover for this kid Lin Feng? You seem to have said before that you would not be a lover to any man. There have been several rich people who wanted to take care of Zhu Qingyu before, and the conditions given were very tempting to women, but Zhu Qingyu refused. One of the rich people even threatened to kill her, but in the end it turned out that the old guy just passed by. He was addicted to his mouth, and did not do anything unfavorable to Zhu Qingyu. Now it seems that it is really possible to create a particularly moist ambiguity between Zhu Qingyu and Lin Feng. Mi Yanqing has a fruit knife in her hand. She can cut apples and watermelons. If she stabs a person in the chest, it will kill him. If you are afraid, you can kneel on the ground and beg me, maybe I will let you go." "You're joking, hurry up," Lin Feng said. The fruit knife in Mi Yanqing's hand really stabbed at Lin Feng, very fast, but it was not aimed at Lin Feng's chest, but at his arm. Lin Feng avoided it easily. Mi Yanqing's body leaned forward under inertia, almost crawling to the ground, her towering chest trembled. It was originally a very funny scene, but Zhu Qingyu couldn't laugh at all, because there were still a few knives in the back. "I was really afraid that Mi Yanqing would hurt Lin Feng." Mi Yanqing tried her best at Lin Feng's arm a few times, 6 times, but failed to stab Lin Feng once. As fast as she can move, Lin Feng can dodge as fast. High Kung Fu is good. Mi Yanqing also had to admire Lin Feng's Kung Fu and speed in her heart. Although this kid made a living by writing online novels, he was indeed very tough. Mi Yanqing threw the fruit knife on the table in frustration, and let Lin Feng eat the tofu, but she failed again to retaliate against Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "Mi Myron, what did you say to AI when that time?" "I won't tell you." "Don't say pull down. If you really want to know, you can ask AI when," Mi Yanqing said. Lin Feng didn't plan to ask Ai Wen. He knew that even if he asked, Ai Wen would just smile and wouldn't tell him. To be continued. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 504. When Lin Feng and Zhu Qingyu left the bar in the 1980s, it was already past 11 o'clock in the evening, and midnight came soon. If it wasn't for Lin Feng's desire to leave early, Zhu Qingyu would even want to play at the bar until 3 in the morning. At this time, the second floor of the bar was busy, some people were drinking frantically, and some people were twisting violently. Some are decadent, some are wet. Self-motivated people also need to be decadent occasionally, and cultivated women also need to be wet from time to time. She, the beautiful head nurse, is very interested tonight, and she really wants to swing and dance with the men and women in her temperament. She had been dancing for almost an hour just now, but she obviously hadn't had enough addiction, or the backlogged emotions in her heart had not been fully released. As soon as she walked out of the bar, Zhu Qingyu's fragrant shoulder touched Lin Feng's body, and said angrily, "You are so bad, what's wrong with playing with me for a while? I was so happy just now, and now I'm on the street, it's so cold. It's been a long time, I should go back." "Where are you going?" The question Zhu Qingyu asked seemed a bit baffling. "Go back to my house," of course Lin Feng quickly added, "go back to the house I rented." Lin Feng already has a home in Beijing, which is his mansion. The house he rented is not his home. The reason why he wants to live there is because Dainan is there, otherwise he would have lived in the mansion long ago. If he lives in a mansion, he can stand in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows to smoke and watch the scenery when he is tired. Even if there is no mansion there, just going in and strolling around is a kind of enjoyment, and if you live there, it is even more a kind of enjoyment. "If you can come to my house with me, I will be very grateful to you," Zhu Qingyu said. Lin Feng was very surprised, looked at Zhu Qingyu's charming face with a little doubt, and said with a smile, "Sister Qingyu, what's wrong with you?" "No, I just want someone to accompany you tonight. If I don't go home with you, will you find another man?" Lin Feng said. Zhu Qingyu was very angry, she raised her legs and kicked him. "What are you saying, bastard? Am I this kind of person in your heart? If I wanted to find another man, I would have found it long ago, since now I haven't looked for it yet, and I definitely don't want to look for it." Lin Feng understood Zhu Qingyu's state of mind, and felt that what he said just now was indeed a bit inappropriate. He said, "If there is a man who can make your heart move in the future, I guess you will think of getting married. Your big river is actually not there. When you are truly married, your status can only be boyfriend and girlfriend. He is gone, he is a very strong man, he is a hero. He is also my only man so far. Although I didn't have time to hold a wedding with him, in my heart, he is already my husband." Zhu Qingyu just more sad. "Okay, I'll go home with you." Lin Feng's heart is actually very comfortable. If a woman with such a charming charm invites you to spend the night together, even a man will feel comfortable. Along the way, Lin Feng was fantasizing. In this intoxicated night, what programs will he and Zhu Qingyu have? It should be okay to have a bang, right, isn't it, because Zhu Qingyu invited him to spend the night? Zhu Qingyu's house has arrived. Lin Feng sat on the sofa and turned on the TV. He had been here a few times, so he gradually became familiar with this place, and sitting on the soft sofa was not as restrained as before. Although it was already midnight, Zhu Qingyu still brought coffee, but Lin Feng felt that in such an intoxicating atmosphere, what Zhu Qingyu brought over should be red wine. When the goblets meet, when the red wine wets the lips, the atmosphere is even better. Since it was coffee, then drink coffee. Lin Feng did not propose to drink red wine. Zhu Qingyu sat beside Lin Feng, surrounded by the aroma of heat. He began to savor the taste with his heart. More than half an hour passed. Lin Feng and Zhu Qingyu were just chatting and watching TV. Zhu Qingyu said some interesting things that happened in the hospital. If these things were said from someone else's mouth, perhaps Lin Feng was not interested, but what came out of Zhu Qingyu's mouth was very interesting. This is like a joke. Some people say it is very interesting, but some people say it is very boring. Lin Feng began to doubt. Zhu Qingyu called him home. What exactly was he trying to do? Sister Qingyu, should we take a shower? Lin Feng said. What did you say, kid? Do you want to take a bath with me? Yup. To you, a big bastard. If you take a bath together, don't you see my body? I see your body too. You, what do you think I asked you to come to the house for? Zhu Qingyu looked like very excited. Lin Feng became depressed. It seems that I really want to go wrong, but I understand now that you asked me to come here, just want me to chat with you all night. Right. Zhu Qingyu was instantly happy. But Lin Feng began to curse in his heart. Is he right? Opposite your sister. Lin Feng stretched out her arms and hugged Zhu Qingyu into her arms. She wiggled a few times before she stopped, and said with a smile, does your kid like to play with me so much? Lin Fengzin said, in fact, you also like to play ambiguous with me, but you are embarrassed to admit that. In the same way, it is very difficult for you to take off your pants in front of me. You're still alright. Zhu Qingyu's fist thumped against Lin Feng, and her body began to rippling and touched Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng's hand quickly pressed against her lower abdomen and gently stroked. Although it was just a simple touch, it made Zhu Qingyu very happy. Her breathing gradually became faster, which showed that she was a woman who needed a man very much. Lin Feng's hand began to move up, and gradually touched her chest photo. Her body swayed, and her eyes became a bit sharp, reminding Lin Feng not to put her hand into her chest photo. But Lin Feng ignored Zhu Qingyu's reminder that was very different from words, and his hand still pushed away her chest photo and stroked her towering chest. Soft and delicate. The beautiful head nurse Zhu Qingyu's skin is very good. It is indeed a rare pleasure to touch. The smoothness and delicacy can make people think of very wonderful things. In Lin Feng's touch, Zhu Qingyu's entire body fell into his arms. When Lin Feng kissed her lips, the kiss quickly became in full swing, and Zhu Qingyu began to desperately ask for it. When a charming woman goes wild, kissing will become very passionate. For example, the hot kiss between Lin Feng and Zhu Qingyu is very passionate. During the kiss, Zhu Qingyu clearly felt that Lin Feng's hand moved down again. It had moved from her towering chest to the position of her lower abdomen, and his hand did not stop. He had already touched her little girl through his trousers. The edge of the trousers. Zhu Qingyu's enchanting body twisted with all her might, especially her slender legs. He was already kicking up. Obviously he was very dissatisfied with Lin Feng's behavior at this time, and he didn't want his hand to go into his pants. Lin Feng is enough, although he really wants to touch the wet softness of the beautiful head nurse, but he will not do things that are too reluctant. Never mind. There will be opportunities in the future. Zhu Qingyu had already brought him a lot of excitement and attracted him. So he plans to get Zhu Qingyu's body one day in the future. When the two were relatively calm, they started chatting, talking about life and ambiguity, and chatted until the early morning. For Zhu Qingyu, such a lively chat is already very enjoyable, but for Lin Feng, it is a great torture, a kind of torture that is scented and soft. Maybe say. This torture is also a kind of enjoyment. When Lin Feng returned to the familiar street, it was not yet 9 o'clock in the morning, and the Fengnan fashion store had not yet opened, but he knew that Dainan should be eating breakfast at this point. When Lin Feng walked onto the familiar overpass, he saw Dainan also walking up, and the two began to walk face to face. Dainan smiled. Lin Feng also smiled. No matter what route Dainan took, Lin Feng was always opposite her, and soon the two were less than 2 meters apart. Dinan's footsteps stopped. Lin Feng continued to walk forward, but the steps he took were much smaller than before. When the two people's bodies were less than 1 meter apart, Lin Feng was still walking forward. He planned to let Dinan's towering chest touch his body. At this time, there was no one else on the overpass. Standing on this overpass, not only could you see the scenery, you can also play ambiguous. You are really evil. Do you want me to be angry with you? Dinan's beautiful face became cold. Lin Feng hadn't seen Dinan's charming and cold face for a long time, so he tasted it carefully. The taste is unique and superb. Only his most beautiful beauty, Dinan, will have this kind of taste. Did you upset that you didn't see me last night? Then you're wrong. It's none of my business for you to sleep with Zhu Qingyu. It's just that your behavior just now made me very angry, Dinan said. First of all, I want to emphasize that Zhu Qingyu and I didn't sleep, just chatted for a whole night. Second, my behavior just now was very cute, you should laugh. Lin Feng made a face. Dinan smiled. Her smile brightened again. I went to the store, you go back to rest, you can code when you are rested, you are already 200 words in 1,000 words, more code points. Okay. Lin Feng really wanted to kiss Dinan's red lips and then go back, but Dinan was already walking forward with graceful steps. Her destination was not far away. Returned to the master bedroom, Lin Feng didn't lie down on the bed immediately, he turned on the computer, read the book's data first, and then logged into the chat account. In the early morning, a woman named De Qingzong sent him a message, "What are you doing?" Lin Feng thought about it for a while, but still gave her a message, "I didn't do anything, just watch the news." Big Caterpillar, did you code in the morning? Lin Feng, usually, I code in the afternoon or evening. I rarely code in the morning, but I also code in the morning when I have a whim. De Qingzong, I really like reading your books, I have already seen yours, it would be great if your update speed could be faster. Lin Feng's update speed is already very fast, but no matter how fast his speed is, readers will still feel it is slow. Lin Feng found out that this woman named De Qingzong was more like her book friend, but she always felt that this woman was not very far from him, not in Hangzhou, Zhejiang province, maybe in Beijing. To be continued. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 505. Lin Feng, are you really in Hangzhou? De Qingzong, what is there to doubt about this? I have also swam in the West Lake. Lin Feng, you really can. If De Qingzong didn't say that she swam in the West Lake, Lin Feng would still believe that she was in Hangzhou, but when she said that, Lin Feng would not believe it. If you are from Hangzhou, you would not usually say swimming in the West Lake, because the West Lake is not for swimming, but for appreciation. If you want to compare the West Lake to the West, it is always appropriate to wear light makeup and heavy makeup. That kind of state is not ordinary and wonderful. For the time being, no matter where De Qingzong is from, Lin Feng has issued an invitation to let her have time to come to Beijing in the future. Beijing has a rich history and a modern atmosphere. As an international metropolis in China, the beauty is naturally no less than that of Hangzhou. De Qingzong readily agreed, and said that one day in the future, he might meet Lin Feng on an overpass in Beijing. This made Lin Feng think of the scene where he and Dinan teased face to face on the flyover, which seemed very interesting. But De Qingzong is definitely not Dinan, and his most beautiful beauty will not get an inexplicable chat account and play boring games with him. Lin Feng and De Qingzong chatted for almost half an hour, and watched the news for more than half an hour. Then he lay on the bed, slept until noon, went to the small shop to have lunch with Dinan, and started typing when he came back. After more than 3 hours, 12,000 words were completed. Although the manuscript fee had increased, Lin Feng did not continue to code. He planned to improve the follow-up plot. As soon as he opened a movie and wanted to watch it for a while, His cell phone rang. It was Wang Shan, the chairman of Wang Group. Lin Feng picked it up and said with a smile, "Sister Wang, you think of me again. I'm very happy to hear you call me Sister Wang, but what you said just now made me a little annoyed. Why do I think of you again? You are my brother's master. My sister, you are his master. In this way, the relationship between the two of us has become much closer, and it is no exaggeration to say that we are already a family." In order to win him over, Wang Shan can say anything. Even saying that they are already a family, Lin Feng really wanted to ridicule Wang Shan, and warned her that you can't do anything wrong with Ye Zi. If you want me to deal with Ye, then I will deal with you. Lin Feng and Ye are true friends. But it is difficult for Lin Feng and Wang Shan to become true friends. Because Wang Shan, a charming and elegant woman, is actually very vicious. Lin Feng didn't know what wicked things Wang Shan had done before, but what he was sure of was that Wang Shan's heart was much darker than Black Rose. Although Black Rose is black, her heart is not black. Wang Shan is not black, but her heart is very black. The boss of a large group is worth several billions. But her heart is so dark, she likes to take advantage of others, and she likes to play tricks on others. Why don't you talk, kid? Did I flatter you just now? A bit. Lin Feng planned to disguise himself well in front of Wang Shan, so that it would be better to understand Wang Shan's intentions. Lin Feng wanted to help Ye very much, because Ye was his true friend, and he was also Ye's true friend. It's good to enjoy the shade with your back against a big tree. Young people like you who have not been out of college for a few years. What you need is not ability, but opportunity. People with high ability may not be able to get along well, while people with ordinary ability only need if you have the opportunity. With the help of noble people, you can get along well, and if someone with outstanding ability like you has the help of a noble person like me, you will save 10 years of struggle. Thank you Sister Wang for your appreciation. Lin Fengzin said, you must be a black fungus, and your fungus is as black as your heart. Come here and have dinner together. Then teach my brother Kung Fu. Okay. In less than 2 hours, Lin Feng arrived at Wang's villa, where he saw the noble and hot Wang Shan, and the hateful handsome Wang Le. Originally it was not a thing, but Wang Le was very handsome. The bad guy might be handsome, the good guy might be ugly. Lin Feng is glad that he is neither handsome nor ugly, and that he is neither good nor bad. The food was very rich, top quality dishes, and top quality wine. At the same time, at the dining table, Lin Feng saw another expert brought by He Wentao from Pattaya, Thailand, that is the flower butterfly other than the brown bear. The brown bear is a stubborn man, but he has already made Lin Feng repair his body, and he is not a match for the dragon and snake legs at all. Hua Dai is a beautiful woman, a very authentic Thai beauty. She has an exotic and charming face with clear outlines. She doesn't need to smile. Even if she is very serious, she is very charming. Once she smiles, she is naturally charming. Huadi has a great figure, about 170 in height, full breasts, slender legs, very hot when it is quiet, and even hotter when it moves. Wang Shan introduced Huadi to Lin Feng. Huadi didn't seem to hate him because Lin Feng cleaned up the brown bear, but showed him a very hot smile. Her teeth were very white, her lips were red and thin, which was unbearable. Just wanted to take a bite. Lin Feng is very straight in front of Huadi. He is a master, so he looks like a master in front of Huadi. Since Huadi is very enthusiastic about him, he has no reason to be black-faced against Huadi, so he is also very enthusiastic about Huadi. In particular, his body has already stimulated Wang Shan, who is very suspected of black fungus, and the Thai beauty Huadi, who is very likely to be a first-time daughter. Both beauties are beautiful and delicious, and with the sumptuous meal, this meal is really enjoyable to eat. Sitting on the sofa in the living room chatting, Wang Shan and Hua Dai sat on both sides of Lin Feng respectively. Although Hua Dai was brought back by He Wentao from Pattaya, Thailand, after He Wentao was temporarily paid by Wang Shan to Beijing, Hua Dai was obviously become Wang Shan's person. It is estimated that Wang Shan has already given Huadi a sum of money. As for the amount of money, it is difficult to say, it may be several million, or 10 million. After all, it is very good for her to conquer a master like Huadi. Huadi smiled and said, Lin Feng, since you can defeat the brown bear, your kung fu is very high, but you may not be able to defeat me. What do you mean, are you going to discuss with me tonight? Lin Feng said with a smile. That's not what I meant. I don't seem to have the need to learn from you, because we are not enemies. We will gradually become friends in the future, Hua Dai said. We'll be friends? Lin Feng expressed doubts, but it is indeed possible to become friends, because many things beyond his imagination have happened before, letting him know that the people and things in life are so colorful. When they went to the third floor together, Lin Feng instructed Wang Le to practice Kung Fu, while Wang Shan and Hua Dai sat aside to enjoy tea. Wang Shan is an amateur in Kung Fu. But her bed Kung Fu was very high, so she couldn't see what level Lin Feng taught Wang Le's Kung Fu if she practiced it well. But butterflies can see it. Huadi knew that what Lin Feng taught Wang Le was very ordinary Sanda moves, without even the necessary details. Even if Wang Le practiced for a year or two, it could only be the kung fu of a three-legged cat. Kick him to death. It might even be possible to slap him to death. But Huadi did not make any comments to Lin Feng. When Wang Shan asked her how Lin Feng taught her, she also said that it was very good. It can be seen that Huadi is not an ordinary woman, she is very intelligent and strategic. Naturally, it is much higher grade than that brown bear. More than 2 hours passed, teaching Wang Le Kung Fu, which made Lin Feng very upset, but he also made 5 million because he accepted Wang Le as an apprentice, which can be said to be making money quickly. Of course, compared with those groups who can make millions in an hour, his money is nothing but a drizzle. After going downstairs, Wang Shan called Lin Feng to the study together. He took a book from the bookshelf to him. It was called Mixing in the Contemporary Time. It was written by a very famous writer in Huaxia. Maybe the writer himself didn't mix well, or the writer encountered a lot of trouble. It's easy to get angry and there's no city government, but the writing in this book is very thick and dark. This book is very well written, and you will definitely gain a lot after reading it. It's here for you. Thank you, Sister Wang. Just as Wang Shan took small steps, Xiang Jian touched Lin Feng's body. Oh ah! Wang Shan screamed in horror, as if Lin Feng suddenly ate her tofu just now. You met me, not I met you, Lin Feng said with a smile. Then why did I scream? You didn't, Wang Shan smiled charmingly. Sister Wang, you are seducing me. Do you want me to take off your pants in this study? Taking off your pants from Lin Feng's mouth gave Wang Shan a strong stimulus and made her very annoyed. Her face suddenly turned gloomy, but the cloud seemed to be suddenly overwhelmed by a level 10 or above. The strong wind blew it away, and she regained her composure. Stinky boy, even if you are impulsive, you can't talk nonsense in front of Sister Wang, because my pants are not so easy to take off. I was just joking. Lin Feng grabbed Wang Shan's arm and dragged her into his arms, stroking her chest through the clothes. Wang Shan's face turned gloomy again, and the gloom quickly dissipated. She just pushed him away gently and said with a smile, You boy, it's a sin to eat Sister Wang's tofu. Very strategic, hot, and not thirsty, this is Wang Shan. When Lin Feng arrived at the shop, it was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. Dainan and Tian Qingzu were both there. In half an hour, the shop would close. Seeing Lin Feng, Tian Qingzu showed a bright smile. Brother Feng, I will sleep in the dormitory tonight. Lin Feng grabbed her arm and dragged her into his arms. When Beauty Bamboo's towering chest touched his body, he stroked Beauty Bamboo's buttocks. Lin Feng smiled and said, "Are you so afraid of me that you?" Beauty Bamboo's face was crimson, and she said in her heart, "I'm not afraid at all, because of us, if you are comfortable, I am also comfortable." But a pure girl like Beauty Bamboo usually doesn't say such things. To be continued. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 506. Lin Feng and Dinan sent Beauty Bamboo to the downstairs of the girls' dormitory together, and then left together. When the two of them were walking on the campus of Beijing Normal University, the beautiful girl Dinan had another wonderful fantasy in her heart. It would be great if she were a student of this university, so that she could experience living in a university dormitory. She will have roommates and friends, she can also take books to class, go to the library to read, and she can participate in various student clubs to exercise herself. Through Dinan's expression, Lin Feng knew what she was thinking about. The lack of a chance to go to university has always been a knot in her heart, but this knot is estimated to be unsolvable in this life. Lin Feng hopes that Dinan will have the opportunity to read in the next life. Huaxia or other top universities in other countries, but Lin Feng will not say such a strange blessing, otherwise Dinan is very likely to cry. Every time he sees the tears of the most beautiful Dinan, Lin Feng will feel distressed. To be honest, there are not many people in this world that Lin Feng feels sorry for. He is not a person who likes to feel sorry for others for no reason, but Dinan is one of them. Most of the people around know that Lin Feng writes online novels, because since the beautiful Bamboo became his girlfriend, he has become more famous at Beijing Normal University. He is not a university here, and he has already graduated into the society, but he is indeed very famous here. Always seeing Lin Feng and Dinan together, people from Beijing Normal University were very curious and guessed that the relationship between Lin Feng and Dinan, apart from partners, it is estimated that the ambiguity will not be less. A man and a woman who is so beautiful and are often together. As long as there is no blood relationship between the two people, it is very likely to have an ambiguity. It is better to hug and kiss or take off the pants. Lin Feng and Dinan's footsteps were not fast. When they walked out of the school gate, Dinan looked back with an intoxicated smile on the corner of his mouth. Back in the master bedroom, Lin Feng didn't code words, but opened an urban life novel on the computer and read it. The author of this book is very annoying when talking in the group, but the plot he wrote is very lifelike and delicate, and the plot arrangement is very good. Lin Feng does not know what kind of person this author friend will be in real life. The chat number of the beautiful head nurse Zhu Qingyu flashed, and she changed to a very cute avatar, as if she was still a young girl, but in fact, she was already a woman with a charm like a peach. As long as she is naked, she will be delicious, but Zhu Qingyu is a beautiful woman who loves herself very much. There are many people who want to strip her naked, but no one can succeed. One person must have succeeded because of saving Dahe who died. Lin Feng wondered if Dahe, a strong man from a fitness trainer, had turned Zhu Qingyu into a black fungus. Lin Feng had never seen Zhu Qingyu's fungus, so he didn't know whether the fungus of this beautiful head nurse was very black. The message Zhu Qingyu sent was, "Lin Feng, you kid, did I irritate you last time?" Lin Feng didn't hide it. "Yes, Sister Qingyu, you were so last time, which stimulated me badly." "Zhu Qingyu, is there any smoke coming out of your body?" "Lin Feng, there was no smoke, but it was very straight. If you see it, you will find that it is very tall and straight." Zhu Qingyu sent a picture of a hammer hitting her head, which was probably stimulated by the news that Lin Feng had just sent. In fact, when Zhu Qingyu was lying on the bed alone in the dead of night, she once fantasized about whether Lin Feng's gun was very tall and straight. Every time she imagined a different scene, because she is a woman with a very rich imagination, even what she wrote things are also very delicate. Lin Feng has seen the content written by Zhu Qingyu about the man in Dahe. The writing is very good and sincere, but only those who know her or have similar experiences like to read those content. Lin Feng also likes to watch it. Different from the above two reasons, the reason why he likes to read it is because Zhu Qingyu is a charming beauty. If Zhu Qingyu is a woman with a very ugly appearance, even if she has a beautiful heart, it is estimated that he does not like to read what Zhu Qingyu wrote, because he not deep enough to like to explore other people's hearts. The mind is the most special thing related to people, even if a person is beautiful on the outside or is very good at whitewashing himself. The mind may be ugly. A person who looks fierce and unreasonable may have a beautiful mind when others are in danger. The person with the worst popularity rushed up, and at that moment, the people around them realized that the person they usually disliked was so great. Lin Feng and Zhu Qingyu used the chat number to tease them for almost half an hour. It was very ambiguous. Lin Feng suddenly realized that the time for him to take off Zhu Qingyu's pants was getting closer and closer. But Lin Feng hopes that one day in the future when he and Zhu Qingyu are enthusiastic, this charming woman's mind is not about Dahe. In the current situation, in Zhu Qingyu's heart, Lin Feng is a bit like Dahe's stand-in, and he hopes that this will happen in the future. Can change, in Zhu Qingyu's heart, he is strong, and he has nothing to do with Dahe. Another possibility is that from now until decades later, every time Zhu Qingyu sees him, he will think of Dahe. Morning. Ye Zi called Lin Feng and asked him to go to the private villa to find her. When Lin Feng arrived, Ye and Hong Ying were both there. The moment she saw Lin Feng, Hong Ying pinched her waist with one hand and put the other hand on her lower abdomen, doing several straightforward movements in a row. Ye and Sister Wang are not outsiders, so no matter what she does, she will not worry about shame. Sure enough, Ye Zi and Sister Wang had no opinion on Hong Ying's behavior of seducing Lin Feng, and both laughed ambiguous. Once the noble and delicate leaves show an ambiguous smile, they will be full of flavor, making Lin Feng want to eat her tofu. Lin Feng had eaten Ye Zi's tofu several times before, but to eat this beautiful lady's tofu, she had to wait until she was in a good mood, otherwise it would upset her. It's not fun to mess with Ye, so Lin Feng won't do that easily. He intends to maintain a good relationship with Ye all the time. Ye Zi said, I asked you to come here this time, not what I meant, nor what Hong Ying meant, but what Sister Wang meant. Lin Feng was a little puzzled. At the same time, Sister Wang was also stunned, looking at Ye full of resentment. It's clearly your call to Lin Feng, why is that what I meant? As soon as Hong Ying and I came here, you mentioned the name Lin Feng 3 times in a row in less than half an hour, so Hong Ying and I both thought you missed Lin Feng, since you are too embarrassed to call him. I'll do it for you. Ye Zi smiled. Sister Wang is very shy. This charming and moist woman is quite shy and tasteful. Sister Wang and Zhu Qingyu are both charming women. They are both beautiful and have great bodies, but they both have different tastes. Lin Feng likes to taste their taste with heart, which is more beautiful than drinking fine wine. Sister Wang said, the reason why I mentioned Lin Feng's name 3 times in a row is because this kid is not my opponent in chess. Although his chess skills are improving, he is still just a stinky chess basket in front of me. He is the object of my contempt. Lin Feng smiled and said, even if I'm a stinky chess basket, you can't despise me, otherwise I'll. What do you think, kid? Sister Wang didn't seem to be afraid of her at all. In fact, Lin Feng wanted to say, otherwise I'll spank you, and when your round hurts, you'll be restless. Sitting on the sofa in the living room drinking tea. Ye is most interested in the situation on Wang Shan, the chairman of Wang Group. This vicious woman wants to attack her, so she must be on guard. 2 days ago, Hong Ying even suggested that Ye Zi find a professional killer to kill Wang Shan, but Ye refused. She is in business, and she tries her best not to kill her. If others want to kill her, just be on guard. After all, repairing and killing are 2 completely different things. Knowing that Wang Shan introduced Hua Dai to Lin Feng, Ye and Hong Ying felt bad. Hong Ying said, "It seems that Wang Shan, this hateful woman, wants to cultivate Lin Feng and Hua Dai into her confidants step by step and serve her." Ye Zi said, "She won't succeed, at least Lin Feng won't become her confidant, right, Lin Feng?" The moment Ye asked the question, her beautiful eyes flashed continuously at Lin Feng, giving Lin Feng enough electricity. Lin Feng said, "You can rest assured. I will never become Wang Shan's confidant in my life, because I am a kind person. In fact, he is really kind, but the kindness that comes out of his mouth amused all three beauties, as if his kindness itself is a very cola thing." Lin Feng said again, "I just said that I am very kind, the three of you don't have to do this." Ye was the first to make a correct evaluation of Lin Feng. "Actually, your heart is really kind, but if someone offends you, you won't be soft at all when it comes to repairing people. But one thing is certain, killing people, you generally dare not do it." Lin Feng said with a relieved smile, "Miss Ye Zi, you still know me. As expected of my confidant, I really don't dare to kill someone. If I kill someone, won't I be finished?" The three beauties continued to laugh, and Lin Feng was a little depressed. He didn't think there was anything funny. Sister Wang went to the kitchen, Hong Ying was watching TV in the living room, and Lin Feng and Ye went to the study upstairs together. Sitting on the chair, Ye Zi casually opened a book and read it, as if he didn't want to chat with Lin Feng. Lin Feng lit a cigarette and said with a smile, "Ye Zi, you are interesting enough, you asked me to come to the study just for you to read, and then let me see you. Yes, I read books, you look at me, I'm sitting here, whatever you want." Yezijian's beautiful face had a layer of crimson, probably she didn't notice that her face had turned into a state of intoxication. "You are wearing clothes. What do you think, I'm wearing clothes? Just look at me, do you still want me to take off my clothes for you to see?" Ye said angrily. "I'll be happy if you'll show me naked." The words that Lin Feng said while smoking were angering Ye, and sure enough, Ye got angry, closed the book with a snap, got up and raised his slender legs and kicked at Lin Feng. This is what Lin Feng was waiting for, because Ye Zi lifted his leg and kicked him, so he had reason to hug Ye Zi's leg. Really? He wickedly embraced Miss Ye Zi's slender legs and kissed her thigh. Although he didn't kiss Ye's flesh, he only kissed her brown trousers, but that was the same feeling. It was wonderful. Lin Feng tugged again, and the single-legged leaf slipped into his arms, and he passionately kissed the leaf's red lips. The leaves tasted the taste of tobacco and the taste of a man's mouth. Lin Feng tasted the smoothness and sweetness. The kiss was in full swing, and the two of them had forgotten that the door of the study was open, and Hong Ying, who was watching TV in the living room just now, had already come over, just in time to see the scene of Lin Feng and Ye kissing passionately. Incredible. The two hot bodies were very close, and Lin Feng's hand was still stroking Ye's butt. The kiss is in full swing. 5 minutes passed. The kiss didn't mean anything to end. 10 minutes passed. The kiss still has no meaning to end. Hong Ying even worried that if she kept kissing like this, Miss Ye would suffocate, and then she would have to call 120 or 999. Clap clap. This is not the sound of Lin Feng and Ye Zi's bodies colliding, but the meaning of Hong Ying's slap. Only then did Lin Feng and Ye realize that the kiss just now made Hong Ying visit. Ye was very shy, and said angrily, "Hong Ying, are you tired of living and peeping? What's the matter? Even if the two of you kissed in front of me, I wouldn't be jealous. If I wasn't afraid of suffocating you, I wouldn't slap the two of you to stop. You two can even kiss so hot." "Tomorrow morning," Red Shadow said. Leaf went downstairs. Hong Ying began to look at Lin Feng with warm eyes, and smiled charmingly. "Is the fragrant tongue of the leaves delicious?" "Certainly delicious. Compared to mine." It's just as delicious, Lin Feng said. Of course, Hong Ying had no intention of breaking up with Miss Ye, and she just asked casually, so no matter what the answer Lin Feng gave, she was very satisfied. The meal is ready. When eating together, the three beauties were chatting all the time, but Lin Feng didn't interrupt. Just drink and eat. I ate a lot of this meal. Lin Feng patted his stomach and sat on the soft sofa. He said in his heart that after arriving in Beijing, I have eaten a lot of good things. I have eaten those that fly in the sky and swim in water. Even something like abalone, a symbol of luxury, has been eaten. It can be said to be very tasty. As for Lin Feng's bliss, it was even more violent. At this time, there were several very high-quality beauties by his side. Every beauty has its own characteristics, and every beauty can bring him extraordinary sex. Hong Ying came over, looked at Lin Feng with a charming look, and smiled charmingly. Dear, it seems we can start. Lin Feng and Hong Ying walked upstairs together. When he was about to go up the stairs, Lin Feng deliberately looked back at Ye Zi and Sister Wang, and said with a smile, don't get me wrong, Hong Ying and I just went upstairs to chat. His words came out. Ye and Sister Wang wanted to shoot him with bricks. Ye Zixin said, I guess the two of you will take off your clothes and then take off your pants to chat. Of course, there is no shortage of gasps and shouts. Cozy bedroom. Big fluffy bed. Lin Feng and Hong Ying are enthusiastic in various poses. Hong Ying's body is very flexible, and she never minds fresh poses. Very wild. Very. More than an hour later, Lin Feng and Hong Ying went downstairs. There was something else happening at Hung Tu Company, so Ye and Hong Ying left first. There were only Lin Feng and Sister Wang left in the living room. Sister Wang smiled and said, why don't you go too? I'm afraid you will be in danger, I must protect you. What's the danger? Sister Wang wondered. Lin Feng took Sister Wang's soft body into his arms, and then said, it's a terrible danger. For example, someone with ulterior motives suddenly appears and forces you to do something with a knife or a gun. Sister Wang immediately thought of her ex-husband He Wentao's unconscionable thing, and she wondered, you mean, He Wentao will appear today? Possible. In fact, what Lin Feng said just now was said casually, aiming to tease Sister Wang, but this charming woman thought too much. He Wentao will definitely not appear today, because that has already made Wang Shan pay for Beijing. When Lin Feng moved her hand away from Sister Wang's chest photo and fondly stroked her towering chest, Sister Wang responded, He Wentao will not appear today, he estimates that he will wait for Wang Shan to let him come back in a while. He will come back, just don't know what he will face when he comes back. What else? The divorce agreement. Wang Shan will not continue living with He Wentao, a man with ulterior motives. To be honest, when Wang Shan pried He Wentao away, all he saw was his handsome face. Seriously, in the eyes of women, a man's handsomeness is like most popular songs, and there will always be outdated times. In 2 years, he is considered handsome, in 3 years, he is more handsome, and after many years, he is just average, Lin Feng said. Incisive. This is Sister Wang's evaluation of what Lin Feng just said. Oh, you're a bad boy, don't do this. When Lin Feng picked up Sister Wang's clothes and kissed her breasts, there was an incomparably sound from Sister Wang's mouth. After kissing her chest, she began to kiss her lower abdomen. Lin Feng's hand was already very close to Sister Wang's pants. The pants that Sister Wang is wearing today are a bit low at the waist, and the edges of the pants are already exposed. The black ones are wrapping her moist softness. Lin Feng wanted to touch Sister Wang's wetness, but Sister Wang wouldn't let her, and said, Stinky boy, please bear with me first, and when I'm in the mood, I'll let you put your hand into my panties. What Sister Wang said just now made Lin Feng's body even more tall and straight. Sister Wang felt his tall and straight, and her heartbeat was very fast. Start playing chess. Lin Feng was still no match for Sister Wang. While complimenting Lin Feng's chess skills, Sister Wang killed him. Lin Feng even thinks that the kind and charming Sister Wang is very good at teasing people when she is also evil. It was past 3 o'clock in the afternoon when Lin Feng returned to the rented master bedroom, and he quickly turned on the computer and started coding. Originally, I planned to write 10,000 words this afternoon, and then write another 5,000 words in the evening, a total of 15,000 words and 5 3,000 word chapters. But it seems a bit late now, so he changed his strategy and planned to code 6,000 words in the afternoon and 9,000 words in the evening. Such a plan change is very simple, but it makes Lin Feng feel different and fulfilled. Because that's what he does. To be continued. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi Feng. Chapter 507. When Lin Feng wrote out 2-3,000 word chapters, it was already evening. In less than 2 hours, his book clicks increased by almost 50,000, and the number of messages increased by more than 30. Many enthusiastic people readers are concerned about the length of the book, and he intends to give an appropriate reply. According to the meaning of the beauty editor AI Wen, his book can be written to more than 6 million words, that is to say, there are still nearly 2 million words. According to his usual update speed, it will take more than half a year to finish the book. Lin Feng selected a few representative readers' messages to reply, and then posted a statement on the top of the book review area, then left the rental house and walked to the street. This street is too familiar to him, even if he walks with his eyes closed, he will not touch the wrong place. Seeing that there are not many people on the road, he really closes his eyes and walks. He had never done this before, even blinking his eyes, the time interval was less than a second, but this time he actually walked with his eyes closed for almost 2 minutes, and suddenly came an innocent voice, "Uncle, do you need help? Let me help you on the flyover." Lin Feng suddenly opened his eyes and smiled brightly at the little girl under 10 who wanted to help him on the overpass. "Uncle is not blind, Uncle closed his eyes just to play, but you are a good boy." "Uncle, you lied." The little girl ran away. Looking at her petite figure, Lin Feng felt very comfortable. What a good child, I hope she will not change when she grows up, as long as she becomes slender and graceful. Lin Feng first ate at a nearby restaurant. Then he brought rice and blood to the store, and the beautiful Zhu was there. Although she was already Lin Feng's girlfriend, when she saw him, the beautiful Zhu Mei's face still showed a blushing, a bit like an apple. The color is also a bit like the color of the sunrise. Lin Feng planned to write a limerick for the beautiful bamboo. When he put the food on the cash register, he danced and said, "King Zhu, my love. You are like an apple. You are also like the sunrise, and in the future, so will my children. Your baby." The beautiful bamboo was stunned for a moment, her face was calm. But her brows furrowed slightly. It can be seen that the limericks that Lin Feng danced and said just now were not very pleasant for the beautiful bamboo. It's a bit like the shaking burden in crosstalk. It's a little less elegant and flirty. Beauty bamboo likes elegance as well as sentiment, and Lin Feng plans to show more elegance and sentiment in front of beauty bamboo in the future. At the very least, she must not move too fast when she must pull off her in a hot kiss, and then she must not move too rough. Dinan said coquettishly, "Lin Feng, what are you doing? What did you say just now? It's just literary talent, and you write novels." In fact, Dinan knows that Lin Feng's writing is very good. Among all the online novels she has read, Lin Feng's writing can be said to be one of the best. She just wanted to mock Lin Feng for a few words. Lin Feng laughed. Beauty Bamboo's expression was no longer as funny as before, and she smiled relievedly. "Brother Feng, we haven't gotten married yet, so you are thinking of letting me have a baby for you. Sooner or later, you will get married, and sooner or later you will give birth to me, Lin Feng said with a smile. The beautiful Zhu and Dainan ate together. When a customer came in, Lin Feng would act as a shopping guide and introduce the products in the store. Lin Feng played very well, and Dainan and Tianqingzhu were impressed by him many times. In fact, the reason is very simple. Although Lin Feng usually doesn't stay in the store for a long time, the goods in the store are imported according to his ideas. Dainan is only a staff officer, so he is very familiar with the goods in the store, and basically it is very clear about the preferences of the student body. After Dainan and Tianqingzhu had eaten, Lin Feng told him about the little girl he met while walking with his eyes closed on purpose. As expected, the two beauties both laughed, two pairs of towering facing Lin Feng. Caijing jumping can be described as hooking people's souls. Dainan said tenderly, "You are a little too evil. You will leave a very bad impression on that little girl. Maybe years later, she will still think of you, a weird uncle who was not blind but walked with his eyes closed." "That's right, Brother Feng, why do you do that? Your eyes are used to see things. Your eyesight is very good, so why do you walk with your eyes closed?" Tianqingzhu wondered. "Actually, my idea is very simple. I just want to test my familiarity with this road. I didn't expect to meet a kind little girl. It is estimated that my simple behavior will have a certain impact on her." "Yes," Lin Feng said. More than an hour later, when Lin Feng was going to go back to code, a very special person arrived at Fengnan Fashion Store. It was Zhao Xiaogang, Lu Xiona's boyfriend, who had turned into a big chicken head. It was the guy who hid in the next room and listened to the noise when Lin Feng and Lu Xiona had sex, and thought that his girlfriend had been made miserable by other men. "Why are you here?" Lin Feng asked. Zhao Xiaogang was very depressed. Judging from his expression, he might cry at any time. Lin Feng realized that something had happened to Lu Xiona. Xiao Na was arrested. Oh! Lin Feng was a little surprised, but Lu Xiona's arrest was also what he expected. When Lu Xiona was just a watch, she sold her own body, but after she became a chicken head, she was the organizer. If caught, they will be sentenced, not as simple as fines. "Xiao Na asked me to tell you. She said, if you have the means, help her. Otherwise, she may be sentenced to 2 or 3 years. She doesn't want to stay in the house at all," Zhao Xiaogang said. "I'll help." Lin Feng asked Zhao Xiaogang to sit down, poured water for him to drink, and then smoked for him. Because he had with his girlfriend, he was very polite to him. Thinking about it carefully, Lu Xiona was very interesting to Lin Feng, teased him, and helped him a lot. In the past, Lin Feng and Pao Ye had a confrontation. Thanks to a lie made up by Lu Xiona, Pao Ye was frightened. Otherwise, his life would be seriously affected, and he would have to leave Beijing for a while. Because at that time he and Ye were not even friends, and there was hardly anyone who could compete with Pao Ye to help him. Now that Lu Xiona is in trouble, Lin Feng will definitely help her. Lin Feng doesn't care what Lu Xiona has done before, or whether she deserves it or not. Lin Feng only has friends in his eyes, and Lu Xiona is his friend, so he must let Lu Xiona be released sooner. Lin Feng took Zhao Xiaogang out of the Fengnan Fashion Store and arrived at the master bedroom he rented. Zhao Xiaogang sat on the sofa smoking a suffocating cigarette, and Lin Feng called Ye Zi. At this time, Ye was talking about business with a client. Is a very important customer. If this list is signed, it will bring tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of profits to Hengtu. Seeing that the call was Lin Feng, Ye Zi hesitated for a moment and hung up, and the mobile phone sent a natural reminder to Lin Feng. "I am busy. Call you back. See this information." Lin Feng mistakenly thought that Ye had hung up his phone on purpose, which Ye had done before. Lin Feng replied with a message, "Busy with your sister." Ye's brows furrowed again, in the eyes of this Yankee. The reason why Miss Yaya frowned twice in a row was because the conditions he put forward were too harsh, so she said in a tongue-in-cheek Chinese language, "Yaya, my friend, why don't we all take a step back so that the contract can be signed smoothly?" Down. So, the business was negotiated. Yaya was originally angry because of the words "busy your sister" sent to her by Lin Feng, but she didn't expect that the 3 words "busy your sister" actually brought tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of profits to Hung To Company. There are thousands of words. The leaves were flushed, and the heart said, "Lin Feng, should I whip you with a leather whip, or should I give you a reward of millions?" The Yankee who talked with Yezian was not yet 40 years old. He was an authentic white American with a long but handsome face. He had a burly stature, his fair skin was covered with black hair, and the secretion of male hormones was relatively strong. In the eyes of this Yankee named Mark, Yezi is a great beauty of national beauty. Mark, who has always been romantic, really wants to do something with Yezi, so that when he returns to the United States, he will have a lot to talk about. He can drink red wine. When eating steak, he told his friends that he played a beautiful lady in Huaxia, which was very good. Mark said, "Yeah, my friend, if you can accompany me to dinner, I will be very happy, and you must be very happy, right?" Yezi said, "Mark, my friend, in fact, I really want to have dinner with you, but unfortunately, a good friend of mine has something to do with me, so why not have dinner together another day? I know, you will stay in Beijing a period of time." Mark smiled and said, "Well, my friend, I estimate that I will stay in Beijing for half a month. I will stay at the Oriental Grand Hyatt Hotel and contact me at any time." Mark's eyes made Yaya feel uncomfortable, but Mark is a big customer of Hung To Company, so Yaya is unlikely to be angry with Mark. Yaya is a very cautious person. In the business field and in the circle of friends, she has seen too many perverts, but it is more difficult for a pervert to eat her tofu. Who has eaten tofu with leaves? Of course it was Lin Feng. This kid Lin Feng even kissed the leaves and stroked her tall and soft breasts. After Mark left Hung To Company, Yaya called Lin Feng back, and Lin Feng picked it up quickly. Yezi couldn't help but said, "You bastard, are you tired of living? I am doing a big business with a foreign businessman. You can call me at this time, but after I hang up, you still text me and scold me. Have you eaten the gall of a bear and a leopard?" Only then did Lin Feng know the real reason why Yaya didn't answer his call, and he really regretted sending Yaya the words "busy with your sister" again. He is joking. But his seemingly simple behavior affected Yezi's business negotiations, but he wouldn't think for the time being that the words "busy with your sister" really made Yezi conclude this big business deal. Sorry. Do you think the 3 words "sorry" can be worth tens of millions of dollars? Certainly not. Come to my villa at night to find me. I'll talk about it later. Miss Ben is very angry now. Yezi was not angry at all, but was very excited. "I'm sorry, the 3 words must not be "busy with your sister." She found that Lin Feng, a sometimes hateful guy, is simply a genius. To be continued. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 508. Lin Feng told Zhao Xiaogang that if Yaya agreed to help, there would be no problem at all in getting Lu Xiaona out of the number, but Zhao Xiaogang was still very worried. Before seeing Lu Xiaona come out, his heart would be hanging. Lin Feng said, "You are worried now, it is of no use at all, and you will naturally know the result in the evening." Night. When Lin Feng arrived at Yaya's private villa, he was ready to be repaired by Yaya, because the words "busy with your sister" he said obviously annoyed Yaya. In order to get Lu Xiaona out of the number, even if it was Yaya, it's nothing to fix. He saw Yezi and Hong Ying, and also saw the charming woman Wang Ji. Yezi's delicate face was cold and she might go crazy at any time, but she didn't have a whip in her hand. Maybe she thought it was very beautiful. The whip wasn't very useful against him. In order to let Ye Zi help smoothly, Lin Feng planned to lower his stance and apologize first. He smiled and said, yeah, I was actually joking with you at the time. If the 3 words I said angered you, I will apologize to you. You apologize, I'm sorry. Lin Feng doesn't have such a taste when he is serious. Miss Ye is a little lost at this time, as if Lin Feng's apology attracted her. Hong Ying and Sister Wang both saw Ye's absence. Ye Zi angrily said, "You bastard, I found that you are really going too far with me, from words to behaviors, you are getting more and more excessive. You must have something to ask me this time, so let me calm down first." "What can I do to calm you down?" Lin Feng said. "Wash my feet." The request made by Ye Zi seems to be a bit excessive. If she is Lin Feng's woman, it is very ambiguous to wash her feet. If she is not Lin Feng's woman, it is very excessive to wash her feet, because washing and touching women's feet boobs are 2 distinct behaviors. Seeing the embarrassment on Lin Feng's face, the 3 beauties with different tastes all laughed. Lin Feng was a little confused, why all 3 of them laughed. "Is there a mystery?" Hong Ying said, Yeah, you are just being cheap and good looking, don't be too Lin Feng, hurry up and tell the truth. Sister Wang said, "That's right, Lin Feng helped you a lot, you should thank him." Lin Feng was a little confused, he actually helped Ye a lot. Could it be that the 3 words "busy your sister" also helped Ye? After hearing Ye say what he really wanted, Lin Feng immediately laughed. It was really unintentional. The American guy named Mark was also very interesting. When he saw Ye frowning, he thought he had an opinion on him. Errors are also prone to occur. Lin Feng smiled and said, Yeah. The 3 words I said brought so much benefit to Hung To Company. You really want to reward me? Tell me, how are you going to reward me? The leaves were flushed, what do you think, kid? Then it depends on your sincerity. Lin Feng thought to himself, if I were to take off your trousers and take a look at your dampness, you would definitely not be happy. But such an excessive request. He would not have proposed, lest the leaf would turn his reward into a violent repair. Ye Zi said, "Don't you have something to ask me? Come to the study and talk." Ye Zi walked towards the stairs first, and Lin Feng followed, but Hong Ying and Sister Wang did not follow. There were only Lin Feng and Ye in the study. Ye's graceful figure and intoxicating aroma made Lin Feng want to do something bad, such as putting Ye's soft body in his arms and kissing him, but it was important to talk about it. Lin Feng told the story of Lu Xiona. Ye Zi obviously despised a woman like Lu Xiona. So she showed a very special sneer, and the reason why she said this kind of sneer was special is that her sneer was not ruthless. Ye Zi said, "Say you're interesting to your friends, you're really interesting to your friends, but, you still have friends, it shows that you have looked for a lot of money before. Could it be that a friend who has found a lot of watches? Your theory is too sturdy. But it doesn't match the facts. I must stress that I haven't looked for a few watches before." "Then how many have you found?" "No more than 2," Lin Feng said. "Is that 1 or 2? "1," Lin Feng said. "Just Lu Xiona?" "Well," Lin Feng said. Ye didn't intend to think hard about how many watches Lin Feng had found. She hesitated for a moment and said, "Although I despise a woman like Lu Xiona. But since she's your friend, I'll help her, but let's do this. No matter how much you pay, Lu Xiona will pay for it by herself, although she was fined, but she is not poor now." "Of course. Lin Feng is already very grateful. If you pay money for this kind of thing, it is naturally Lu Xiona who will pay." Ye promised that Lu Xiona would be released within 3 days, and Lin Feng finally breathed a sigh of relief. He smiled and said, "How are you going to reward me?" "I bought a set of clothes for you. Of course, if you are afraid that Tian Qingzu will be jealous, you may not accept it." "Fine. I'm not afraid." "Don't be afraid," Lin Feng said. You have kind. I still have a little bit of it, not to mention King Zhu is not a person who is casually jealous, Lin Feng said. It seems that green bamboo has a very high status in your heart. As soon as Ye's words were out of her mouth, Lin Feng hugged her frantically, lifted up her clothes, and kissed her tall breasts. What are you doing, boy? Ye's voice was trembling, but Lin Feng's kiss quickly brought her into a very intoxicated state. Very comfortable. Very enjoyable. So from Ye's mouth, a very cry came out. After kissing Ye's tender and soft breasts, Lin Feng could be said to have eaten enough tofu, and suddenly he showed a serious look, as if he didn't do anything to Ye just now. Ye didn't know how Lin Feng's sudden calmness was achieved, but he did. When Lin Feng and Ye Zi went to the living room together, Hong Ying and Sister Wang were watching TV quietly, but their expressions were a bit ambiguous. In fact, the two of them were chatting just now, whether Lin Feng and Ye would do anything ambiguous in the study, and whether Lin Feng had the guts to eat Ye's tofu in the study. It turned out that Lin Feng had the courage. He kissed Ye, which was towering and soft-chested, for at least 5 minutes. Sitting on the sofa in the living room to have tea together, Lin Feng and Ye Zi talked about creating online novels. Ye said that if she has time in the future, she will also write this online novel, not for making money but just for fun. But Lin Feng knew that what Ye said was nothing more than a whim. She might write online novels almost zero in the future, because she is usually very busy, and the business of Hung To Company is enough for her, so she has no time to enjoy it in this way. Ye Zi's cell phone rang. It was Mark, the Yankee, who was calling. He was the backbone of a large company in the United States and had a lot of power to speak. Although he had plans for Ye Zi was still very polite to him. The business has just been negotiated, so Mark's phone still has to be answered, so she picks it up and smiles. Mark, my friend, in the evening, what's the matter with you calling me? Mark said, the night view of Beijing is beautiful. I'm in a good mood tonight. I wonder if you can accompany me for a cup of tea. You can drink tea if you want. I have a lot of good tea in my villa. You can come and drink it. Biluakun, Longjing, Dahongbao, Taiguanyin, whatever you want to drink, I can brew it for you, Ye Zi said. Mark was a little flattered immediately, thinking that Ye had taken a fancy to him, so he was so polite to him. Just as beautiful women are prone to fantasizing about men, men are more likely to have undesired fantasies about beautiful women. For example, Mark, the Yankee, did have an undeserved fantasy about Ye Zi, what he was about to do, and what he was about to face. It was very suspenseful. Mark has arrived. He is an American, and he didn't come to Beijing often before, so he didn't have a car in Beijing, but he loved driving and racing cars. When he got here, he rented a Mercedes-Benz off-road vehicle, which was a bit crazy to drive. He drove to Ye Zi's villa, and he was greeted by Ye and Hong Ying. The moment he saw Ye, that thing stood up straight. He wondered if he had a chance to do something to Ye tonight. When we arrived at the villa together, Mark admired the luxury of the villa, because it was much more luxurious than his residence in the United States. At the same time, what puzzled him was that there was a young man on the sofa in the living room. He didn't know who he was from Ye Zi, but he instinctively became hostile to this man. He didn't know his name. Mark already knew who Hong Ying was, so Ye just introduced Lin Feng and Sister Wang. When Ye Zi introduced Lin Feng, he was not very detailed. He just said that Lin Feng was her friend. Mark was a little suspicious that Lin Feng was Ye's boyfriend, otherwise how could this guy appear in Ye's private villa? Mark is a very jealous man. Although Ye is not his woman, Lin Feng still made him jealous. He wanted to break Lin Feng's nose with a punch. Mark has practiced fighting, and is considered a second-rate fighter, but his ability is enough to deal with ordinary people. For example, he used to be handsome on the street many times and conquered a few American women. Mark didn't see that Lin Feng was a kung fu master. he only thought he was someone who knew nothing about Kung Fu. Mark was very unfriendly to Lin Feng, and asked him what he did in American English. Although Lin Feng's English level was average, he still understood what Mark meant, so he also answered him in English. Mark can speak Chinese. Since he asked in English just now, Lin Feng also answered in English. Mark immediately laughed out loud, saying that Lin Feng's English was so bad that it made people want to vomit. Lin Feng said that if you want to vomit, you should vomit. If you want to vomit or not, you will be disgusted by yourself. If you want to vomit, you will be disgusted by others. To be continued. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 509. Mark was instantly angry, and he slammed it on the coffee table. He stopped speaking English and changed it into Chinese. What are you? What qualifications do you have to talk to me like that? It's polite to talk to you like that. Since you don't like me, there's no need to communicate. Lin Feng didn't want to make the scene too embarrassing, so he got up and walked upstairs, planning to read in the study, too lazy to pay attention to this Mark. Mark got up angrily and rushed forward, and his wide hand immediately patted Lin Feng's shoulder. Although Lin Feng turned his back to Mark, he felt Mark rushing towards him. The moment he dodged, he turned back and faced Mark's stomach. Just a solid punch. Ah! Mark let out a scream, and immediately squatted down with his stomach covered. Lin Feng pushed Mark's forehead again, and Mark fell to the ground. Lin Feng smiled coldly and walked upstairs with dashing steps. Mark was very embarrassed, but the hearts of the three beauties were very happy, because Mark is such a hateful guy. But Ye is a little worried that Mark is angry and will create obstacles for Hung To Company in future business cooperation, which may make Hung To Company suffer. Mark, my friend, can you stand up by yourself? How about I help you up? Of course I can, I was careless just now, so I just punched him. Maybe you don't know, I have practiced fighting. I have practiced fighting for a long time before. My master is a fierce man in the black market boxing world. With his feet capable of kicking out 2,000 caddies of divine power, how could Lin Feng be my opponent? Maybe not at all. Mark danced and said. It was very helpless to show that his master was punched by Lin Feng just now. But both Ye Zi and Hong Ying knew that if it wasn't for Lin Feng's mercy just now, Mark, the burly American guy, probably wouldn't even be able to pretend, and he didn't know what it would be like to be embarrassed. We are a cooperative relationship, and I also treat you as a friend. So it is necessary for me to remind you that Lin Feng's kung fu is very high. If you continue to trouble him, you will suffer. Ye Zi said. Is Lin Feng's kung fu very high? Judging from his reaction just now, it seems to be okay, but Mark believes that Lin Feng's muscles are not prominent, and he looks very ordinary, and he is not very powerful. Maybe he can break Lin Feng's bones with one punch. He has broken other people's bones with one punch before. The man whose bones were broken by him looked stronger than Lin Feng. Yeah, since you said so, then I will challenge Lin Feng. Just tonight, in your luxurious villa, I will have a good fight with Lin Feng. I advise you not to be so impulsive, Ye Zi said. Mark thought. Ye was afraid that Lin Feng would suffer. That's why he said that. He said, I have already decided. Mark rushed towards the stairs. His footsteps were very fast and he looked very angry. He soon reached the study. At this time, Lin Feng was reading a book. Mark looked at Lin Feng's back and roared, Lin Feng, I want to challenge you. How much is the stake? 1 million. Not much, but I agree. Before, if I heard 1,000,000 bets, Lin Feng would be afraid, but at this time, in his eyes, 1 million is nothing. Lin Feng and Mark were about to fight, and the three beauties all went to the third floor. In the face of Lin Feng, Mark looked very big and powerful. He really wanted to knock Lin Feng to the ground with one punch, making him bleed in revenge for the punch just now. But Mark suddenly thought of a very interesting question. Before starting the fight, he asked, "Do you have 1,000,000? Have. It can't be relied upon. If I lose, the money will definitely be given to you." "The three beauties sitting over there can guarantee this," Lin Feng said. Mark glanced at the three beauties, and the of the three beauties stimulated him at the same time, causing his body to slam, and then he lifted his leg and kicked Lin Feng. The power of this leg is not small, but in Lin Feng's eyes, it has been revealed that Mark is a second-rate fighting man. Lin Feng avoided Mark's leg effortlessly, and Mark kicked over with a few more legs. The kicking posture was very cool, but his leg did not hit Lin Feng's body. Seeing the opportunity, Lin Feng slapped Mark's waist with a whip leg. Mark screamed in pain and fell to the ground. Lin Feng rushed in front of Mark, and before Mark could react, he knelt on his stomach with his knees, slapped him twice, and sneered, "Are you going to fight?" Mark's nosebleed has splashed out, and he knows that he is not Lin Feng's opponent. If he continues to be tough, he will continue to be beaten. Mark said, "My friend, your Chinese Kung Fu is really amazing. I admire you very much. I don't plan to fight you anymore. I admit defeat. I lost 1,000,000 to you." Mark has conceded defeat, so Lin Feng doesn't have to continue to compete with him. In fact, he has no interest in this Yankee at all. Lin Feng walked to Ye Zi's side and sat down. He smiled and said, "I didn't expect to come to your villa tonight. I won 1,000,000, and I feel very good." Ye Zi smiled and didn't say anything, because no matter what she said now, it would make Mark, who was beaten, very upset. Mark came over, his face was swollen and looked a little weird. Ye Zi came out with the trauma medicine. Mark applied the trauma medicine to his face himself, and then left. Although Mark conceded defeat, he was not reconciled. Lin Feng made him lose a lot of face in front of the three beauties. He had already held a grudge against Lin Feng, and he would definitely retaliate if he had a chance in the future. Mark left many people with the impression of being unrestrained, but being unrestrained is just his illusion. In fact, he is a man who will retaliate. Those who offend him will definitely take revenge on the premise that he has the ability and opportunity. Of course, if he was repaired and the person who made him lose face was someone he couldn't afford to offend at all, he would only be able to stop. Lin Feng originally planned to go back, but his lover Hong Ying wouldn't let him go, saying that since you are here, you can sleep with me. If you go back like this, I will be very sad tonight. Lin Feng can only stay. In fact, he also really wants to stay and sleep with Hong Ying, because Hong Ying's graceful beauty always makes him very comfortable. He and Hong Ying went to the bathroom together, and sat in the whirlpool bathtub to take a bath, stroking each other and teasing each other, which soon caused a splash of water in the enthusiastic exercise. When the battlefield reached the soft big bed, Lin Feng carried Hong Ying's slender legs and attacked, and Hong Ying screamed and screamed comfortably. Very stylish. Very wild. Hong Ying once again used her body and her demeanor to bring strong pleasure to Lin Feng. But what Lin Feng thought at this time was that Hong Ying would leave Bajan City in Huaxia Kingdom next summer and go to Bangkok, Thailand. He believed that at that time, he would miss Hong Ying, and if he had time, he would go to her. Morning. Ye and Hong Ying left the villa, and it was time for Lin Feng and the charming woman, Sister Wang, to be alone. Although Lin Feng hadn't started eating her tofu yet, Sister Wang, who was sitting on the sofa in the living room sipping tea and admiring the foreign scenery on her tablet, had already flushed a little. Once a woman shows this kind of flushing, she must be thinking of wet things. Lin Feng sat next to Sister Wang and found that she was admiring the snow scene in Switzerland. He smiled and said, "Have you been to Switzerland before?" "I went there once, with Ye, but that was 3 years ago. If there is a chance in the future, I will go to Switzerland to play. It's cold there. Are you interested in it? You won't settle in Switzerland in the future, will you?" No, I just like to play. Skiing is my hobby. If you want to ski, go to the northeast or Inner Mongolia, there are many interesting places, Lin Feng said. Stinky boy, I can go wherever I want, and I want you to take care of it. Sister Wang was clearly very happy, because the few words Lin Feng talked to her just now made her feel happy, but she pretended to be angry. Lin Feng squeezed her round buttocks, which were soft and felt really good. He smiled and said, I didn't say anything just now, why are you suddenly angry? Women are sometimes weird. You are easy to make me angry, so, you better go quickly, don't disturb me to enjoy the scenery pictures. What's so good about pictures? You might as well get into my arms at such a wonderful moment. Lin Feng hugged Sister Wang and kneaded against her flat and smooth belly. After eating the tofu of this charming beauty, he became more and more familiar. Little bastard, I'm 10 years older than you, you're embarrassed to always eat my tofu. I'm very interested. But I'm sorry. Sister Wang's face was even redder than before. Lin Fengzin said, although what you said was embarrassing but you enjoyed it very much, I intend to let you enjoy it for a while. Lin Feng's hand moved towards Sister Wang's chest. Sister Wang seemed to have no objection. Until Lin Feng began to touch her towering chest, she still had no objection, but her breathing became more and more rapid. After some ambiguity, Sister Wang proposed to play chess again, but Lin Feng refused, saying that he had something to do and had to go. Sister Wang asked him if he was afraid of losing, and he said no, in fact, he was afraid of losing, because he knew that even if he even played 100 games today, he would not be able to win 3 games in a row against Sister Wang, and his chess level still needs to be improved. Mark did not deny it. This morning, he paid 1 million to the account provided by Lin Feng, which made Lin Feng's deposit more. At this time, Lin Feng not only had a mansion worth tens of millions, but also had more than 8 million in savings. Although he was not an authentic rich man, it could be said that he was no longer a poor man. Even if he only relies on manuscript fees, he can earn 50,000 to 60,000 yuan a month at his current level, but this is still far from his goal. Update fast, no pop-ups, plain text. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 510. Lin Feng told Zhao Xiaogang that Yaya agreed to help and said that Lu Xiaona would be released within 3 days. Zhao Xiaogang was very grateful, but he actually told Lin Feng that Xiaona would be my woman and yours in the future. Lin Feng was very ashamed. Said, Xiaona is just your woman, not my woman, she is my friend. Zhao Xiaogang said again, what I meant just now is that if you want to have that with Xiaona, you can use her body at any time. Lin Feng said, I will not use her body casually, you are her boyfriend, you can't have such thoughts. Lin Fengzin said, if you keep thinking this way, your hair will be the most vivid green in nature, which makes people unable to use a very suitable word to describe that kind of green that blinds people's eyes. Ever since he learned about the special relationship between Lu Xiaona and Zhao Xiaogang, Lin Feng has always been curious. What kind of drug did Lu Xiaona drink to Zhao Xiaogang, which made him think that he was different from many men? Realm. Afternoon. When Lin Feng was typing, De Qingzong sent him another message, what are you doing? Lin Feng, code words. De Qingzong, why not masturbation? Lin Feng, after coding, just slap it? The big caterpillar came over with a smile. Lin Feng did not continue to reply, and quickly typed the words, but De Qingzong sent several ambiguous messages in a row, and even proposed to let Lin Feng guess the color of her pants. Lin Feng began to think again, who is De Qingzong? The more we talked, the more I felt that De Qingzong knew him. In the past, Yang Chunbeixiu let him guess for a long time, and all kinds of guesses were ruled out. In the end, Yang Chun Bingxiu, who helped him a lot, turned out to be his first girlfriend Shen Bingqian. Who will this big caterpillar be? Lin Feng thought of Baiman, maybe because he wanted to know where Baiman went after he left Beijing, so he thought of Baiman. Will the big caterpillar be Baiman? Unlikely, but not entirely impossible. Lin Feng, after leaving Beijing, where did you go? De Qingzone, are you sick? Why can't I understand what you mean? I am not from Beijing. He talked about leaving Beijing. The last time I went to Beijing was a few years ago. Lin Feng, I know you are Baiman, stop pretending. De Qingzone, you are so interesting, there is something wrong with the code, who is Baiman? Is it a woman you've had a one-night kiss with? Lin Feng did not continue to reply. He felt even more that De Qingzone was not Baiman, but De Qingzone was probably someone who knew him. In other words, the big caterpillar is most likely in Beijing. This afternoon, Lin Feng typed out 12,000 words. Even if he didn't type at night, he wouldn't feel empty. He was going to make an appointment with someone, but he didn't know if that person would like to see him. That person is Bing Chen. After Black Rose was arrested, Bing Chen got involved with Ye, because she was not Ye's confidant, so she couldn't become Ye's bodyguard, but only got a position in the security department of Hungtu Company. Baiman and Bing Chen are good friends. Although Baiman did not contact him, it is very likely that he contacted Bing Chen. So Lin Feng plans to inquire about Baiman through Bing Chen. 8 p.m. Lin Feng arrived at his mansion. After sitting on the soft velvet sofa and smoking a cigarette, he called Bing Chen. At this time, Bing Chen was walking on the street alone, and all that flashed in her mind was what happened when she used to hang out with Black Rose. Seeing that the call was from Lin Feng, Bing Chen's heart tightened. She hated Lin Feng very much, but she was also afraid of Lin Feng, because Lin Feng could fight better than her, and it was easy for Lin Feng to repair her. But it was not easy for her to repair Lin Feng. Even if Lin Feng didn't answer the phone, it wasn't too difficult for Lin Feng to find her. Bing Chen simply answered, "Lin Feng, what are you looking for from me? If I ask you to do that, you certainly won't do it with me. Aren't you talking nonsense? I'm not your woman, and I don't have that kind of with you. Why would I do that with you? You can do it with whomever you like," Bing Chen said. "It was just a joke just now. There is something very important that needs to be interviewed with you. You come to my mansion to find me." "All right." Bing Chen was very panicked, not knowing after seeing Lin Feng. What will he do to her? It seems that it won't work if he doesn't go. Bing Chen has arrived. Leggings, leather skirt, high leather boots, her face is cold, but her body is hot. Facing Lin Feng, her eyes showed panic, but her face was still calm. Standing in front of Lin Feng, her slender legs were naturally bent, and she asked him, "What's the matter?" "Sit down and chat slowly while drinking tea," Lin Feng said. Bing Chen sat down, ready to dodge at any time, not wanting Lin Feng to hold her in his arms. Lin Feng planned to ask questions first, and then eat Bing Chen's tofu, otherwise he might annoy Bing Chen in advance, and he might not get the answer he wanted. Lin Feng said, "How many times has Baiman contacted you?" "Not once." "Tell me, where did Baiman go? I also want to know, not only do you care about her, but I also care about her, but she has never contacted me," Bing Chen said. Not like lying. Maybe Baiman really didn't contact Bing Chen after he left Beijing, but Lin Feng just didn't give up. He hugged Bing Chen and sneered, "If you don't tell me, I'll pull off your trousers and throw them out the window. It's boring to just throw my trousers. You might as well throw my whole body out of the window. What I said just now is the truth." "Baiman has never contacted me," Bing Chen said. Lin Feng believed even more that Baiman had never contacted Bing Chen, so who did Baiman contact in Beijing? Maybe she hasn't contacted anyone. "Have some tea." Can I go? Bing Chen asked. Can't. I'm an employee of the security department of Hungta Company, you dare to put me under house arrest. Don't be so ugly, who cares about house arrest? You think you have very long thighs. I will house you under house arrest. I just want you to drink 2 more cups of tea, Lin Feng said. But I don't want to drink tea with you, I just want to leave, Bing Chen said. Lin Feng's hand was placed on Bing Chen's thigh with heat and texture. His hand kept stroking Bing Chen's thigh, and Bing Chen's face became colder and colder. When Lin Feng's hand was very close to her part, Bing Chen's right arm was raised, and it was a horizontal fist at Lin Feng's nose. Tough enough. If Bing Chen punched him in the face, it is estimated that the bridge of his nose would be broken. Lin Feng blocked Bing Chen's fist, and then squeezed against Bing Chen's stomach. Oh ah! This kind of teasing is too hard, so Bing Chen's stomach hurts. Oh ah! Bing Chen screamed again, because Lin Feng's hand squeezed hard against her chest again. Although through the clothes, but Lin Feng's feeling is already wonderful. Lin Feng planned to tease Bing Chen's wetness. But seeing her tears flowed out, she dismissed the idea for the time being. Lin Feng said, when you despised me before, you definitely didn't expect that one day I would bully you like this. Are you taking revenge on me? No. Then what are you doing? Eat your tofu. Why? Because your tofu is delicious, I like it very much, Lin Feng said. I've never seen someone as domineering as you. I'm very peaceful, even when I eat your tofu, I'm very calm. There are not many people who say I'm overbearing, so I'm not overbearing at all, Lin Feng said. Bing Chen finally left Lin Feng's mansion. When she was driving on the road, her heartbeat was still very abnormal. When she was with Black Rose, she had seen many big scenes. There were very few moments of panic, but Lin Feng repeatedly made her feel panic. If there is a chance in the future, she will definitely repair Lin Feng severely. Repair him to the point of begging for mercy. Lin Feng is obviously a little lost. In the short term, it is almost impossible to know where Baiman went after he left Beijing. Maybe he won't know where Baiman went after a long time. Miss Ye's personal connections are really strong. 3 days later, Lu Xiaona was released, but she also paid an extra 80,000 yuan in fines. Of course, she paid the money herself. Whether she was a young lady in the past or ast later, Lu Xiaona never thought about going to jail. She thought she would be the one who was lucky enough to always get away with it, no matter who was caught in her peers, she would not be caught. But this time it happened that she was arrested, she was terrified, let alone 1 or 2 years or 3 or 5 years in prison, even just 1 month would make her very miserable. I thought it was over, thanks to Lin Feng. Lu Xiaona is very grateful to Lin Feng, and also very grateful to Ye. She must repay them, otherwise she will feel uncomfortable. Afternoon. When Lin Feng was typing, Lu Xiaona called him. Said to come to find him. He was very depressed, because he only wanted Lu Xiaona to let go, and didn't want Lu Xiaona to come to him. If this crazy woman comes, I don't know what she will do. Lin Feng didn't like doing that thing with Lu Xiaona very much before, but now he doesn't like it much. Maybe doing that thing with her will be very comfortable, but he will feel uncomfortable. But Lu Xiaona still came, dressed brightly, as if she had never been caught. The only difference was that she didn't have the Oxford Dictionary or the encyclopedia in her arms, she just carried a Armani bag. Arriving in Lin Feng's master bedroom, Lu Xiaona's eyes were wet, and she said in a trembling voice, Lin Feng, thank you, if it wasn't for your help this time, I would be finished. We are friends, you have helped me before, you don't have to care too much, let alone repay me. Lin Fengzin said, if you want to repay me by taking off your pants again, I will be very depressed. I'm so lucky to have a friend like you. Lu Xiaona put the bag on the sofa, a charming smile appeared at the corner of her mouth, and she had already started to unbutton her What are you doing? Sleep with you. But I don't want to sleep with you, you'd better not mess around, or I won't recognize you as a friend, Lin Feng said coldly. As if she hadn't heard what Lin Feng said, Lu Xiona had already taken off her upper body clothes. She took off the chest photo and threw it on the sofa. Her tall were very delicate. Soon she even took off her pants and panties. Now, just like this, the naked stripes twisted in front of Lin Feng. To be continued. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 511. Lin Feng smoked angrily. If I knew you were still like this, I wouldn't be lazy to help you. It's not a bad thing to put you in jail for a while. People like you need reform. You hate it? Lu Xiona smiled, and she could see that Lin Feng really didn't want to be with her, so she put on her clothes again. She was very fond of Lin Feng's bedtime skills, and at the same time she wanted to satisfy Lin Feng in this way. If Lin Feng is satisfied through her body, she will also have a sense of accomplishment. How should I repay you? Don't be a lady in the future, don't be a fool, do something else. There are many ways to make money. You are a woman with a very flexible mind, you can even think of walking around holding the Oxford Dictionary and pretending to be pure. Do you still want to can't find some way to make money? Lin Feng said. You hate me so meanly to satirize me, but your satire makes me very happy. Maybe I have missed Ching Chun in my life, but I will live a little cleaner in the future. That's good, Lin Feng said. Listen to you, I will not do that business in the future. I plan to open a beauty salon. Oh, a very formal beauty salon. The biggest scale is that of pushing oil. There is progress, Lin Feng said. If I don't have enough money, can you lend me some? I know that my request is too much, but if I want to do something, I really don't have a place to borrow money. Those friends I used to make friends with you can eat and sing, but borrowing money is useless. I will consider it. If I think it is reliable, I will lend it to you. If I think it is not reliable, I will not lend it to you, Lin Feng quickly added, if I don't lend it at that time. Don't have other ideas about your money, and don't think I don't treat you as a friend. After all, money is different from other things. Lu Xiona nodded slightly. She was very sad. She really doesn't know what she will be like if she doesn't work in the industry she used to be familiar with in the past. Will she not even be able to earn basic living expenses, and can only spend her boyfriend's money at ordinary times? Zhao Xiaogang is now a stylist and can earn about 10,000 yuan a month. If he doesn't buy anything big, this 10,000 yuan is enough for him and Lu Xiona to spend a month. You can save some money, but if Lu Xiona wants to make more money, it is best to have an income of several million or even tens of millions a year. Although she has experienced a big and small storm in her life, Lu Xiona's dream has not faded, that is, to live in a luxury house and drive a famous car in front of many people. Lu Xiona's chat box was opened, and it turned out that she had been chatting with Lin Feng for more than an hour. She even said what happened when she was in elementary school, which shows that she trusts Lin Feng very much. Lin Feng also learned from it that when she was a primary school student, Lu Xiona was shy, and her teachers and classmates liked her very much. She also served as a class representative, and after entering junior high school. When the rebellious period began, Lu Xiona was completely different from when she was in elementary school. When she was in the first year of junior high school, she was very envious of the actions of some senior students. When she was in the second year of junior high school, she began to wear strange clothes and fall in love. Once when she was walking briskly in the corridor of the teaching building, a good friend asked her, "Xiona, what are you doing waiting for me while walking so fast?" She says, "I be bled." She had her period that time, and it was her performance during her period that made her the #1 hot girl in the whole school. Lu Xiona burst into tears because she decided to choose a new future. When Lu Xiona was about to leave, Lin Feng said to her, "You will remember it in the future, except for Zhao Xiaogang. You can't just let other men touch your body. Lu Xiaona said, I will be more serious than anyone else in the future. People who have never been a young lady may abandon their husbands, but I am a young lady. I can't do such a thing. I have sold my body, but my conscience has always been there. I used to be a conscientious person, and I will be a conscientious person in the future. Lin Feng originally wanted to write 10,000 words this afternoon, but Lu Xiaona was delayed for almost 2 hours. He could only change the goal of the afternoon from 10,000 to 5,000. Evening. He took the food to Fengnan fashion store, and only Dinan was there. From her expression, it could be seen that the business was very good today. He said, Kingzu didn't come. Dinan said, not yet, but she came here more than 2 hours ago and said that the laundry might be late at night. Oh, that Lu Xiaona, what did you do with you? If I guessed correctly, the two of you again, that's it? No. It's useless for you to deny, I can smell her from you, Dinan said. This time it's your nose. I really don't have that with her. Real. Real. It's amazing. Dinan regarded it as a miracle that Lin Feng and Lu Xiaona were not like that, just as it was a miracle that the two of them did not take off their pants when they met. 8 p.m. When Tian Qingzhe came to the store, Lin Feng was still there, looking at the beautiful and clear smile of Bamboo. Lin Feng's body and mind were washed, as if even the congestion in his body had been resolved, very comfortable. Brother Feng, why didn't you go back and code? Go back later. Are you waiting for me? My opponent, tell you, come with me at night, Lin Feng said. All right. Tian Qingzhe said in his heart, Brother Feng, you are so annoying. You want to be with me again. Is it a bit too frequent for the two of us? But it's really comfortable with you, I already like it with you. Lin Feng left the Fengnan fashion store and walked slowly on the street. More than 60% of the people passing by him were teachers and students of Beijing Normal University. He basically didn't know them, but these people were basically all know him. Since the beauty school Hua Tian Qingzhe became his girlfriend, his popularity in Beijing Normal University has grown to the extreme, because he has made many people extremely envious and depressed. After returning to the master bedroom, Lin Feng continued to code. At the same time, he was also considering whether the woman whose online name was De Qingzone would harass him again. Fortunately, more than 2 hours later, De Qingzone did not send him a message, and let him code out 8,000 words in silence. Counting the 5,000 words in the afternoon, there are 13,000 words today. Lin Feng planned to work harder to reach 15,000 words, so he continued to code words, and soon reached 15,000 words. Beauty editor Ai Wen sent a message to Lin Feng. Congrats to Lin Feng's book, which has exceeded 1 billion clicks on mobile phones. Lin Feng sent a very bright smile and a few very humble words, which made Ai Wen feel very comfortable. Ai Wen is very empty at home alone. Although she is used to this kind of emptiness, it still makes her very miserable. Just like a person who suffers from frequent headaches, although he is used to having headaches, he still suffers every time the headache strikes. If Lin Feng was by her side, it would be nice to have a drink with her. Ai Wen felt that his thoughts were too much, because Lin Feng was not her boyfriend, so there was no reason to be by her side so late. Lin Feng asked Ai Wen, when to eat together. Ai Wen replied that there was time. Fengnan fashion store closed. Tian Qingzhe wanted to go back to the dormitory a bit. Dinan smiled and said, really, isn't it more comfortable to sleep with Lin Feng than in the dormitory? Besides, you have promised Lin Feng, go to him at night, but you are his girlfriend. You love him so much, it seems a little out of place to put his pigeons like that. I'm afraid my roommates will talk about me. Forget it, I'll go to Brother Feng. Just like that, the beautiful Bamboo appeared in front of Lin Feng again, stimulating Lin Feng's body and mind with her purity and fragrance. Lin Feng hugged the delicate body of the beautiful bamboo, and made the pair of towering chests tightly against his body. He smiled and said, "You have been my girlfriend for a while. Why are you still so shy when you meet me?" The beautiful bamboo said, "I'm not shy. But your face is red. Am I blushing? Why didn't I feel it?" Beauty bamboo really didn't feel her blushing, but her face was really red. The peach-like red was very intoxicating. "Brother Feng, please code. Today's mission has been completed. But I really want to see your code. I'd rather sleep with your arms around you." Lin Feng picked up the beautiful bamboo to the bed, and threw the delicate body of the beautiful bamboo on the bed. "Oh Brother Feng, you are so rude." When the soft body trembled along with the soft big bed, the beautiful bamboo screamed delicately. Lin Feng pressed down on the beautiful bamboo. Kissing her lips and taking off her clothes, the beautiful bamboo was left with a pair of panties. Lin Feng kissed her chest and slowly touched her panties. Pulled off the beautiful bamboo. Lin Feng broke into her body very gently, and at that moment, the beautiful bamboo groaned with satisfaction, because Lin Feng's intrusion made her very fulfilled. Change rhythm. Change posture. Lin Feng and Beauty Bamboo were surging to their heart's content. Dinan hasn't lied down on the bed yet, she is watching movies on the computer, and at the same time she is wondering if the enthusiasm between Lin Feng and the beautiful bamboo has already begun. What posture is used? Is this kid Lin Feng? She was very willing to exert force on the delicate body of the beautiful bamboo, making the beautiful bamboo scream in the tremor. A few days later, He Wentao, the hateful man, finally returned to Beijing from out of town. After being out for more than a month, he was very empty and scared, and he didn't know what he would face when he came back. When he appeared in front of Wang Shan, he finally knew what he was facing. It was the divorce agreement. He Wentao immediately felt the darkness, and the world was spinning. He fell from the sofa to the ground, and soon knelt down in front of Wang Shan, crying and begging her not to divorce. But Wang Shan made up her mind, even if He Wentao burst into tears, it would be useless. He Wentao insisted again and again, but when Wang Shan let Hua Dai beat him, He Wentao saw the shadow of death and did not dare to hold on. The marriage certificate became a divorce certificate, and He Wentao was removed from the Wang group. In addition to millions of deposits, he only had a private house in Beijing. Compared with ordinary people, he was still richer. But compared with his previous status, it was a world of difference. To be continued.